And so, as y'all see, right, I want to talk about the most possibly overrated fighters ever in the history of boxing, right? And I think I want to start with Conelo. Canelo is a fighter who should have 4 losses on his resume, right? I believe that he definitely lost to Austin Trout. He also lost to Arisladi Lara, and we already know he lost to Floyd, even though there was a judge, right, who gave Canelo a split draw, right, when he lost every round. So we already know that Canelo Alvarez got a lot of favorable judgment decisions. So, like I said, he lost to Arisladi Lara and he lost to Austin Trout, right? And I honest to God, don't even think that it was close. But Canelo claim to fame is basically losing bad to a person like Floyd Mayweather, right? Which was a boxer in a lower class, weight class than he was. And Floyd Mayweather just showed him that basically it was levels to it. So even though he had lost, right, to, in my opinion, like I said, those 3 fighters, they somehow still put him on a pedestal, and then they were saying that Eris like Laurie, basically that Eris Laurie Lundy is a fighter that lost to him. They said that Canelo was the best thing since sliced bread, and they said that he was a pound for pound. Right now, what made that whole thing worse is that they put Canelo over fighters that was pretty much undefeated. They tried to put him over a person like Andre Ward. They tried to put him over um, uh, Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. They tried to put him over people like Jamal Charlo, right? All these fighters that are pretty much undefeated, giving them no respect. Now, I understand that Canelo had pretty much over about 50 fights, and he had some pretty impressive wins, and he fought against another guy that I have overrated, which is Kovalev, which the fight I believe was pretty much fake. Now, Canelo Alvarez, what a lot of people don't want to mention is that he has always fought a fighter that was basically at a disadvantage, whether it was a weight drain, whether it was a clause to where you can't um, you can't gain over a certain amount of weight. So he had favorable treatments, and then a lot of times he had actually had it at a weight to where it wasn't even a weight class of that caliber. So, like for instance, I believe he tried to fight Triple G at like 152 or something like that, or Mayweather at 152. He had fought like 164. He had fought like in weight classes that didn't even exist, right? And he has, like I said, put people at a disadvantage to where it turned out in his favor, right? So that's why I have a person like Canelo very overrated, because basically when he fought, he never fought a person or a fighter at their potential, full potential, capability. When you look at the fact that he fought a person like Kovalev, Kovalev was basically weight drained, and not only that, he had just got out of a tough fight um, with Anthony Yard. So that don't count to me. If you want somebody to basically not even fully recover and then fight you after the fact, like come on now, that to me you don't get no brownie points for that. So that's that, and that's part of the reason why I have Canelo Alvarez as basically the number one overrated fighter, right? So another overrated fighter was Triple G. Triple G did not fight nobody outside of Canelo. And we already know that he had for sure three losses on his resume. I had him losing to Danny Jacobs, and I had him losing to Devonchenko. Devonchenko had to beat that man 8 out of the 12 rounds, and somehow they robbed Devonchenko out of a decision, for Triple G because they wanted the fight versus him and Canelo again. So Triple G was also a fighter that did not want to fight Andre Ward. They were trying to basically make Andre Ward to go up and fight another overrated fighter, which is Kovalev. And basically, Andre Ward went up there, handled business. He ended up getting knocked down, but he ended up winning a fight, which is well deserving. I believe that he won the fight. Many people believe that he won the fight, and some believe that he lost on a fact that he actually got knocked down. So Triple G made a statement that he would have fought anybody from 154 to 175. So it turned out that that was a lie, right? Abel Sanchez was just basically blowing smoke up, people wrecked him because he didn't even let this man fight any of these caliber of fighters, right? They were trying to say that uh, a person like Andre Ward was, trying to bully Triple G, which I don't understand because he was fighting at 168 at the time. So I don't know about that situation, right? Triple G was so overrated, right? He didn't want to fight nobody in his class. Triple G wanted to fight a person like Floyd Mayweather, right? And the only other person that he wanted to fight was Canelo. Triple G basically end up avoiding a fight with the likes of a what's the name of it? Oh, Jamal Charlo. He didn't want to fight Jamel Charlo. He didn't want to fight um Boo Boo Andre. He like literally did not want to fight none of the top caliber fighters. He got rid of his belt to fight Devonchenko, right? He didn't want to fight him until they basically made it a case to where he had to fight Devonchenko in order to get the Canelo fight, right? So that was one of the ones that I definitely, thought that he lost. Right? He did not win. He did not win that fight by no stretches of the imagination. And if you look at Triple G body language, Triple G always tells you when he actually lost the fight. He always tells you. His body language show you. So that was another fight that he lost. Now let's get to Kovalev. Kovalev was a fighter that was known for basically knocking people out, and he ended up fighting Andre Ward. Andre Ward basically exposed him. He put up a pretty decent fight in the first fight, right? It was a very close fight, but when Andre Ward, figured him out, the second fight wasn't even close. Andre Ward basically stopped this man by going to the body, for the duration of the fight, and basically handled business. He handled business. And so I have Kovalev as an overrated fighter because people basically gave this man a lot of credit for knocking out a lot of people that was not really, great caliber of fighters. He didn't fight none of the best, really, like that. He did fight Anthony Yard, which he was losing, but he ended up getting a knockout, right? So he ended up fighting good fighters like Andre Ward and stuff like that. But people were basically um, trying to make a person like Andre Ward go up to fight Kovalev because they tried to think they thought that Kovalev was basically the boogeyman, and then he ended up getting exposed by a smaller fighter in a lower weight class, right? So Kovalev ended up fighting Canelo Alvarez, which I believe that Kovalev was winning that fight based on the jab alone. But here was the thing: Kovalev basically somehow miraculously, even after he didn't even really get hit, somehow ended up getting knocked out by Canelo, which I know the fight was fake, right? It was basically to stroke Canelo ego to make him look better than what he actually was, right? And Canelo ended up losing that fight, right? He definitely lost that fight. Um, but towards the end of the 11th round, they tried to make it seem like Canelo was, doing his thing or whatever, but he ended up knocking Kovalev out and just showing like how fake and WCW the fight was, right? So now we got Inoue. I wanted to say him for last. Inoue has literally fought nobody, right? Since he knocked out a lot of the opponents in his weight class, which is really not many, right? I guess he's somehow a Hall of Famer because he beat a person like Nonito Donaire, right? Now, Nonito Donaire is a good fighter, but he's older, right? He lost to, great people like Miguel Rigondeaux, stuff like that. So basically, he was just a fighter that fought a bunch of bums. And then everybody wanted to basically say, oh, well, he's undisputed, he's this. Now, one of the things that I do understand, the politics, right? The politics and everything. Every fighter that they have given roses to very early, right, have basically proven that they wasn't what a lot of people said they were. Right now, Inoue is a good fighter. He's been undisputed, but he has nobody in his division. Now, when he fights Stephen Fulton, I believe that he would get exposed. If he could pull that off, I will give him more credit. Right, I will not put him in Hall of Fame status, but I would definitely give him a lot of credit if he can pull that off. I got Stephen Fulton winning that fight. Right now, I don't have this gentleman in particular the uh on the list, but another fighter that was very overrated was Vasyl Lomachenko. So a lot of people might say, well, you ain't put no black fighters on there. That's because when you look at it, black fighters don't get early credit. You can look at Errol Spence. Errol Spence ain't never got credit. He still haven't got credit. They say he ain't never fought nobody. Gervonta Davis, they say that he ain't never fought nobody. They say a fighter like Terrence Crawford still hasn't fought anybody. They say Andre Ward hasn't fought anybody, and their records are better than all the ones that I've named. But they have somehow given them, even with the loss, right? They with Canelo, they giving him pound for pound, right? Number one best fighter. They tried to give Kovalev, pound for pound, number one best fighter. They tried to give it to Triple G at one point as the best fighter. They tried to give it to Vasyl Lomachenko as the best fighter until he lost to Lopez, Teofimo Lopez. And basically he got exposed when he fought when he fought other fighters, like when he fought Camp. Was it Campo or I forgot his name, the tall guy that's from Europe, right? Fought him, was getting exposed, and he put it off at the last minute. But Vasyl Lomachenko been exposed. He's been like show that he's not one of the top fighters, in the world. Yes, he's good. All right, he do the Matrix. He do it all C-level fighters, right? And they just he download the information and processing it. Oh, now he's going to do this and that. Man, that dude was always overrated. Vasyl Lomachenko, if not number one, definitely probably number two in the overrated category, right? So those are some fighters that are definitely in the category of being very, very overrated. And like I said, the reason I haven't chose any black fighters is because the black fighters don't get credit. They have to earn the title to get that type of credit. So a lot of non-black fighters don't. So they get early recognition, early credit. They was trying to say T.O. female was the best thing since sliced bread. They was trying to say the person that he ended up losing to was the best thing since sliced bread until Devin Haney ended up beating him. So, that's all I got for now, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. I just had to give you at least about 15 minutes of fighters that are definitely overrated. But yeah, man, thank y'all for tuning in. Man, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're new to the channel, I'm looking to build. You may not like this or agree with this topic, but you may like the next one. So tune in to my next episode. Thank y'all again.